Hey credit warriors, I'm Ben Hedges, aka the Credit Shifu, and on this channel we teach how to responsibly use credit cards to earn points and miles for free travel, or if you prefer, cashback to buy whatever you want in your life. Personally, I go for points, and I have redeemed points I earned on credit cards for over $50,000 worth of free travel over the past few years. But you have to start from somewhere, and as you apply for cards, there is a strategy so that you don't miss out on rewards and you can get cards with all the capabilities you need quickly. In this video, we are going to go through all of the things you need to consider so you can figure out an optimal route through applications with different banks. I'll give you some examples of what I would do, but some of this is going to depend on your preferences. And before we start, I just want to say that if you are in debt now, or if you find it hard to control your spending and it's easy for you to get into debt, then this video isn't for you. You need a debit card and a copy of The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. That may sound like a joke, but I am deadly serious. I do not want people getting into debt because of my videos. We recommend you pay your card in full every month, and if you can't do that, then this hobby will destroy you. Be warned. Oh, and this video is brought to you by Masterworks, but more on that later. The start, or as we like to call it, early game. Alright, so if you are starting from nothing, your first port of call is going to be to get a card that is easy to get and builds your credit. Obviously, all cards build your credit, but you aren't going to be approved for an Amex Platinum with no credit history, so you have to start small. Now, if you are a student, you may want to go for a specific student credit card, but make sure it earns some rewards, okay? Some of them don't. So look at any of the student cards from Capital One, for example, those earn rewards. The Chase Freedom Rise, which is Chase's only credit builder card and is available to students, or the Discover It student card. Out of these, my preference would be the Discover It student cashback card, since the rewards are on par with the non-student version of the card. 5% back on rotating categories that change each quarter, and an unlimited first-year cashback match, which means you are effectively earning 10% back in those categories for a total of $600 in cashback in the first year if you max it out. Compare that to the welcome bonus on the Capital One Saver Student. Oh, $50. Great. But for this video, I'm mostly going to assume that the person watching is working a job and has an average income of somewhere between $40,000 and $70,000 a year. So we're going to try to start with a different credit card. The one I would recommend is the Chase Freedom Flex. And there is a reason that we want to get Chase cards first, and that is because of the Chase 524 rule, which states that if you have opened 5 or more personal credit cards in the past 24 months, which is 2 years, you can't open a new Chase card. Now, this rule is not written down anywhere, but it is obvious that it exists from data points collected by numerous bloggers and Reddit contributors. So the idea is that you get all the Chase cards that you have your eye on at the beginning, because once you're over 524, it will take you a while before you get out of 524 jail. Typically, people new to the credit card points and miles game or cashback game apply for about 10 credit cards in the first 2 to 3 years before slowing down. So it could be a while before you can get Chase cards again. But there are some workarounds that we'll show you later. Now, Chase normally likes to see a year of credit history for any card other than the Freedom Rise. But you can get around that if you bank with Chase and you go into a branch and you talk with your banker and they write a letter to the credit card department with a recommendation for you. I was using Chase as my bank when I started building credit, and I had money going in there every month, and thus I was able to apply for the Freedom as my first card. Someone else I know deposited $100,000 in Chase and was instantly offered a Chase Sapphire card with no US credit history. Your banker is just like, "Show me the money!" And they'll do anything for you. Well, I mean, they'll get you set up with a credit card at least. Then after this, get the Discover It non-student version as your second card. This is very easy to get. Both the Discover It and the Freedom Flex have 5% cashback on $1,500 worth of spending in categories that rotate each quarter. So you get some great rewards, even though these are your first 2 cards with hardly any credit history. If you really can't get the Freedom Flex, go for the Discover It first, and then maybe try for the Freedom Flex as your second card. You may still need to bank with Chase and go and talk to a banker if you have less than a year of credit history. Pay these 2 cards off on time every month and keep your balances low. I mean under 20% of your credit limit. Then after 5 to 6 months, your score should be around 700, and with a credit score over 700 and an average income, you should be able to apply and get approved for any credit card except for invite-only black cards.
It's a ridiculous amount of money per year to get one of those. I bet you haven't got one.
Now, the next card on the list that I'm going to recommend is something from American Express. But first, we talked at the beginning about paying your credit cards every month and not getting into debt. But it seems a lot of people right now are not doing that. Right now, almost half of all Americans need credit cards to cover living expenses. Half. JP Morgan's leading stock strategist predicts that by this summer, only the top 1% of Americans will be better off financially than they were pre-pandemic. And with borrowing costs higher than ever, it's imperative to make your money work for you. Traditional investments like stocks and real estate can be volatile in climates like these, which is why savvy investors have been allocating to alternative assets like fine art. Because while the world's biggest banks were reporting their lowest profits in years, Sotheby's art sales numbers were virtually unchanged from 2022. They sold about $8 billion worth of art and even reported an increase in private sales, because it's not just old billionaire bankers investing in art anymore. Thousands of savvy investors have already done it from the comfort of their own homes, thanks to our sponsor at Masterworks. With Masterworks, you don't need high-powered market connections or even an art degree. Any investing involves risk, including loss of principal, but every painting Masterworks has sold to date has delivered a positive return to their investors. They've been pulling in net returns like 14.6%, 17.8%, 21.5%, and even more, which is why over 900,000 people have signed up so far. They've got legendary artists like Banksy and Picasso, and popular offerings like those have sold out in minutes. But my viewers can skip the waitlist and get started investing like the billionaires do by going to masterworks.art/Ben Hedges. It's linked below, or just scan the QR code on screen now. Right, let's get back to why I say this is the time on your journey to get your first Amex card. There are a couple of reasons for this. First up is that Amex tends to give higher credit limits. My first Amex card, when I just got my credit score to 700, came with a $10,000 limit. So it's very likely if you apply for an Amex card at this stage, you will be able to get a high limit. If you don't, Amex also lets you apply to triple your starting credit limit after 60 days of having the card. So if they only give you, say, $4,000, well, after 60 days, you can apply to take that up to $12,000. I have a whole video going through that strategy. It looks like this. I will put it on the end of this video for you to check out. And it looks great when you go and apply for other Chase cards later. For example, the minimum credit limit available on the Sapphire Preferred is $5,000, and the minimum on the Sapphire Reserve is $10,000. So your approval odds increase if you already have something with a limit equal to or higher on your credit report. Second reason why I like getting an Amex card now is for people who are on the points and miles game, so not team cashback people, but if you get an Amex card that earns membership rewards points, it gives you the ability to earn membership rewards points from the shopping portal Rakuten. Rakuten gives you extra cashback on many popular stores or websites when you click through their site to shop. On holiday sales like Black Friday, President's Day, etc., you will often see 15% cashback. Well, guess what? If you have an American Express card that is in the membership rewards system, that cashback can be converted into Amex points. 1 point for every cent of cashback. And as points, it can be worth 2, 3, or even more cents per point, depending on how you use them. I have had up to 6 cents per point in value on certain business class flight redemptions. So for those who want to earn points, I would recommend either the American Express Everyday card if you want no annual fee, or if you want to earn more points and don't mind a $95 annual fee, the Amex Everyday Preferred. It earns 3 points per dollar on groceries, 2 points per dollar on gas, and that goes up to 4.5 points per dollar on groceries and 3 points per dollar on gas if you make 30 or more transactions per month, which isn't hard to do, you just gotta be disciplined. The only thing that is a little lacking on the Everyday and the Everyday Preferred is the welcome bonus. 10,000 points on the Everyday and 15,000 on the Everyday Preferred. That really isn't that high. But you'll be laughing when Black Friday rolls around. For cashback people, a good choice here for your first Amex card is probably the Blue Cash Everyday, which is 3% on groceries, online retail, and gas with no annual fee. Welcome bonus is also pretty lame at just $200 at the time of writing. But that's the last lame welcome bonus you're gonna have to put up with, because for card 4, we're going back to Chase. Mid-game. Now, since we're still under 524, we're actually at 324 currently, this is the time to apply for a Chase Sapphire card. And we should get approved since we have the high limit from our Amex card. Both the Sapphire Preferred and the Reserve are great cards, and they give you the ability to take all of that cashback that you earned on your Freedom Flex, transfer it over to the Sapphire, and then transfer it to airlines or book travel through the Chase portal at 1.25 cents per point on the Preferred and 1.5 cents per point on the Reserve instead of just 1 cent per point like you get on the Chase Freedom itself. The bonus on both of these cards at the time of recording this video is 60,000 points. On the Preferred, that is worth $750 through the Chase travel portal, and on the Reserve, redeemed the same way, it's worth $900. Whether you get the Preferred or the Reserve really boils down to how much travel you will do. The Reserve is a high level, what I like to call tier 4 travel card that has a $550 annual fee but gives you airport lounge access through Priority Pass, a $300 travel credit, and has that 1.5 cents in value on the points through the travel portal. The Preferred is just $95 a year and just gives you a few more earning categories like 2x on travel. But both cards give us the ability to transfer points out to airlines, which is what our points and miles people want. I don't recommend either of these cards if you're on Team Cashback. So now we have 4 cards and we are still under 524. If there are still Chase cards that you want to get, I would get one of those for your next card. This could also be where you could start applying for business cards, which don't count towards 524, so they keep that final slot open. However, you must be under 524 to successfully apply for a Chase business card. You can generally qualify for a business card from Chase or any other issuer if you own a company or work as a contractor. For example, you could be an Uber driver, any kind of tradesperson, or anyone who gets paid on a 1099 at the end of the year, not a W-2. Even someone who just has a side hustle like selling items on eBay or Amazon. The Chase Inc. business cards like the Inc. Unlimited or Inc. Preferred are great cards, and I personally have both of those for my business. I'll link them down below in the description if you want to learn more about them. But there are also other great business cards from Amex, Citi, and Capital One too. But if you don't care about another Chase card for the moment, you could still fill that last 524 slot with a personal card from any other bank. Some of the ones that spring to mind for either points and miles people or cashback people would be the Citi Double Cash that earns 2% cashback, which is also convertible to 2x Citi points on everything. So that's like a catch-all non-category card. The Citi Custom Cash that gives you 5% cashback or 5x points on your biggest spending category per month. Or just for points people, the Citi Premier, which earns 3x Citi points on a load of useful categories. This is also where I would start looking at the Amex charge cards, which Amex doesn't call charge cards anymore since they're more of hybrids that do have pay over time features. So the green, gold, and platinum. Now, you will want to apply for these in order if you want to get the sign-up bonus on all 3 of them, and that is since Amex has recently added what we call family language to these cards, where if you want the welcome bonus on each one, you have to get them starting from low to high. So you go green, gold, platinum. If you get the platinum first, you most probably will not be able to get the bonus on the Amex Gold or Amex Green. Amex also added similar language to the Delta Airlines co-branded credit card, so if you want the bonus on each one of those, you got to do them in order too. Capital One's Venture X is also a card that I would look into at this stage as a high-level travel card. I only recommend one high-level travel card per person, since if you have more than one, you're often doubling up on the benefits, all right? Those cards, they have very similar benefits, and you'll be paying over $1,000 in annual fees per year across those 2 cards. Right now, in 2024, it's sort of a toss-up between the Capital One Venture X, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Amex Platinum. They all give airport lounge access with different programs on each, and they have a variety of different high-level travel perks. I have a video comparing all 3 of them. It looks like this. I will put it on the end screen of this video for you to check out. If you do go for the Capital One Venture X, just remember Capital One restricts the number of their personal cards you can have to just 2. So many people get the Capital One Venture X and the Saver or Saver One, which seem to complement each other well and have come to be known as the Capital One Duo. All right, let's move on to our last section. Late game. Now, late in the game, you will have already opened maybe 15 credit cards or more, and you will have had a load of welcome bonuses available on personal cards already. At this stage, you'll be looking to business cards to get extra bonuses. For example, for Amex cards, there is the once in a lifetime rule. If you want the bonus again on a card you've had before, you actually have to reincarnate, grow up to 18 years old, and then apply again. Have I made that joke before? Anyway, so if you've already had the bonus on the personal gold, you could apply for the business gold and get an even bigger bonus since business card bonuses are generally higher. Look at that, 125,000 points on the business versus 60,000 on the personal. On Chase cards, you can even have two of a certain business card or more at the same time. You can apply for the first one with your personal SSN and then another one with the EIN of your business. And then if you were to start another LLC, you can even get another one with that EIN of that new company and get a bonus on each. The current welcome bonus on the Inc. Unlimited is $750 cashback / 75,000 points. Like I said, there's a link to that one somewhere down below for you to check out. It's also at this time late in the game where you're going to want to start paying attention to rules from banks like Citi and Chase that allow you to get bonuses you've had before for a second time. So on the Sapphire Preferred, if you got the bonus and then a few years later you canceled the card or downgraded it, as long as it's 48 months, which is 4 years since you had the bonus for the first time, you can apply and get the card again with a welcome bonus again. That's another 60,000 or 80,000 points, whatever the offer is at the time. If you downgrade the Sapphire card to another Freedom, and yes, you can have more than one Freedom card, you can then get $3,000 worth of spending each quarter that you can earn 5% on. So you've increased it to 3,000 from 1,500. I had 3 Freedoms at one point, so I had $4,500 per quarter that I could earn 5% on or 5x points on, but I never maxed it out. So I actually canceled one of them and I now just have 2. The Citi Premier has a similar 48-month rule to the Chase Sapphire cards. Bonus thank you points are not available if you have received a new account bonus for a Citi Premier account in the past 48 months. So if you have had the card before, you could potentially get it again and get a bonus as long as it's 4 years later. Many people keep spreadsheets to remember the dates of when they signed up for and when they got the bonus on cards that have these sorts of rules so that they know when they'll be eligible again. Those are things that you will be doing at the late stage of the game. And hopefully at this stage though, you will have simultaneously built a business or invested and made a load of money too. And perhaps credit card rewards aren't the be all and end all of things for you. You can still travel or use money from your business to buy things, but hey, if the rewards are there, you might as well take them and max them out. Just make sure you always pay on time. You don't want to pay even a penny in interest to the banks. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget you can skip the wait list and get started investing in art like the billionaires do by signing up for Masterworks with my link in the description below or scanning the QR code on screen now. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you next time.